like y'all anyway. Man, I don't like y'all anyway.
When I used to joke about rising fascism in America and the fall of democracy, I really thought I was being, like, over the top.
Staten Island niggas still puffing the dust blunts.
Representing Staten Island.
I mean, like, all kidding aside, I'm a high school dropout. I never thought the words autocracy and kleptocracy would be in my vernacular. I just never thought that that would be a thing.
Staten Island niggas still puffing the dust blunts.
It's very, very difficult and frustrating to have progressive ideology living on Staten Island, or as I call it, North Texas. Example, your weed dealer pulls away and he's got a Trump Pence hat sitting on his back windshield. This is real life.
Representing Staten Island.
Staten Island niggas still puffing the dust blunts.
The most important thing you can do for me listening to this podcast is to not get sidetracked with distractions and nonsense. There is a person occupying the Oval Office who has committed crimes every single day of his life. And the only way to combat this is not to look at polls, it's to go vote in November.
Staten Island niggas still puffing the dust blunts.
Representing Staten Island.
Want to hear a little story about some of those people who are going to be voting in November? I'll tell you. People that value guns over children. People who think the South will rise again. People that think ending slavery was a failed experiment. White nationalists.
Representing Staten Island.
Staten Island niggas still puffing the dust blunts.
Be a part of ending the rise of fascism and the fall of democracy in America by keeping it locked to East Coast Radio, Dies in Your House, and hit the polls in November. As somebody who basically had 70% of their family tree killed in concentration camps, I apologize if I don't have a witty retort for the Jeff Sessions Nazi Germany comment. East Coast Radio. Who's in the house? Dies in your house. What goes on, peeps? We are here. It is East Coast Radio. We are back with another action-packed edition of Dies in Your House. If you're not clear about what this is the pre-show, the post-show, and the prelude to the J Porks podcast. Because what's going on in our country, in our what was once a great nation, what happens is that there's so much corruption that every Monday on the J Porks podcast, you get over an hour, usually 90 minutes, of me breaking down all the important stuff that you may have missed because the distraction fan is always turned on blowing smoke towards you. So what I did was I decided to start my own little podcast network over here on iTunes and on YouTube. And what I do is every Friday, every Friday, I rage against the machine, basically. I pick one story to basically take away, so I don't have to give you a 3-hour podcast, because if I'm not Conrad Thompson, no one's listening to a 3-hour podcast. So, also on Dies in Your House, it's shorter. We only go about 20 minutes here, because I want to give people, a quick taste, so they can see if the J Porks podcast is something that they're interested in. And if you heard Monday's episode of the J Porks podcast, you would have heard my interview with author of Dirty Rubles, An Introduction to Trump Russia, Greg Olear. And he is the founder of a weekly editorial, The Weaklings. And he's also a novelist. He's written a bunch of books. And on Amazon, you can go get his book, Dirty Rubles, An Introduction to Trump Russia by Greg Olear. and we had about an hour-long discussion, and I will probably put that discussion up on this feed as well, on the East Coast radio feed, it'll be a special episode of Dies in Your House. I'm not going to do that right now, because everyone should still be going to the Dare Network on iTunes. Everyone should still be, if you didn't listen to it, everyone should be going there. It's the best episode of the J Perks podcast ever. It's the episode of the J Perks podcast where the most learning gets done. And I don't mean you, I mean me. In terms of I learned a lot about stuff I didn't know, because Greg is such a smart guy, and you know what? And honestly, I'm not. I'm not a smart guy. Not saying I'm like a dumb guy, but I'm not, somebody who's been immersed in the world of politics my whole life. But my life was ruined in November 2016. Things changed. Things got not normal. And every waking moment of my day, I will be, as my buddy Chach has coined me, the liberal legend. I will be that. I will do what I can. I will put it in your news feed. I will put it in your Twitter feed. I will put it in your Instagram. You are going to see pictures. You are going to see articles. You are going to see truths. And I'm not one of those people that blindly shares things. I'm sorry. I vet all my sources. And you should too. Because listen, you should trust, but you should also verify. You can't look at the news and say, oh, everything they're saying is bullcrap. When in reality, Fox News is doing that, and other stations might be just doing a little bit of bullcrap. And what you gotta do is differentiate where that bullcrap comes from. But forget all that for a second. Forget all the plugs. Forget smashing that subscribe button at East Coast Radio on iTunes and on YouTube. Forget all that. Forget following me on Twitter at JPorks. We can do that another time. Where are the girls? Okay? You heard me at the top talking about my family tree history. Jeff Sessions goes on TV, and in defending the policy, which is what it is, the regime, the policy of this fat fascist regime of separating children from their parents at the border, separating them. Jeff Sessions goes on Lauren Ingram, who, I can't believe she's back on television. Someone tell David Hogg so we can take care of her. Take care of her advertisers. In all seriousness, so they asked, what about the comparisons to Nazi Germany? His reply, not joke, and I'm not doing the voice, because it's not funny. This is not funny. He says, it's not like Nazi Germany, because they didn't want the Jews to leave the country in Nazi Germany. Implying that, these people are getting deported, and, the Jews weren't getting deported. Yeah, because they were getting killed! They were getting murdered! Let me tell you a little story about my grandfather, alright? Let me tell you about Henry Deisenhouse, okay? Coffin builder in Poland, okay? Skied to school every day. Those were the times. Nazis came and got him and his mother, his family. And they walked through the door of concentration camp. And they looked at him. And he was, I don't know if he was a child or in his teens or maybe, close to being 18 or whatever. He was younger than 18, I would assume. I'm not, I don't know his exact birth date. I don't have the certificate in front of me. Walks in next to his mother. And a Nazi soldier takes a gun out, puts a gun to his mother's head, and kills her in front of my grandfather. In real life, that happened. So don't go over there making jokes about how, oh, well, they didn't want them to leave the country, and we do. You are the scum of the earth. If you make that, listen, they're camps. So you can't say it's not like Nazi Germany, because there are comparisons. We have a fascist dictator, and we have people being put in camps. People being put in cages. And don't you dare tell me about the Obama administration cages. There was a short crisis in 2014 where certain tactics needed to be used, and the volume in which they were being used was like 100,000% less than what is going on now. These people are not crossing the border illegally, and I'm using air quotes illegally, because they want to. There's a long line, and it's like a bottleneck, so you can't get in, and you need to get in. And we are a country of immigrants. We are a country of people that aren't from here. And you have the gall to separate children from their families, from their mothers and fathers. And let me ask you a question again. Where are the girls? Where are the girls? You see pictures of boys in cages, teenage boys. You see women. You see mothers being detained. Where are the girls? I don't want to... You know, I will. You know where I think the girls are? And you know where the girls probably are? Let's think. What are people like Putin, Erdogan? What do these people do with young girls? What happens to young girls when they get basically abducted from their parents? Because that's what this is. You're abducting children, is what you're doing. If you guessed human sex trafficking, you're close. And don't tell me don't say I'm crazy, because where are the girls? There's no pictures of the girls. Why aren't journalists allowed in the detainment camps if we're doing things that are just regular policy? They're breaking the law. If I broke the law and I went to jail, I wouldn't get to see my kids. Well, let me tell you something. If you committed a misdemeanor, you wouldn't go to jail, and crossing the border is a misdemeanor. If you want to change it to a felony, you know, to really change what this country's all about. So what I want to know is, what year was it? What was the year that people had to stop coming to this country? Because, like, every white person, you know, if you're not Native American, you know, like Cherokee and all that stuff, you're not from here. So I just want to know what year. When was the exact date when we decided, oh man, we can't accept any more immigrants? Was it like 1949? Was it like 1961? Because there's so many arbitrary things. Like, there'll be people, because listen, when the Jewish people were trying to come over here after the Holocaust, after my grandparents were liberated in Germany, like, they had to have hearings. And there were hearings, people were saying, we can't let these people in our country. What? And I mean, listen, I live on Staten Island, so like, this is all Italian, you know what I'm saying? All these people are Italian. These people don't realize that they didn't want Italians in this country either back in the day. We are all immigrants. So, last couple of days ago, oh, I can't fix that by an executive order. Signs an executive order that they're going to keep families together. In cages. In detainment camps. In concentration camps, basically. And listen, if you want to say, hey Jay, they're not concentration camps because they're not killing the kids. Well, I don't know. Where are the girls? I know where some of the girls were. There were a couple of girls in East Harlem. Now, I don't know how they got from a detention center in Texas to East Harlem, but they were there. And when New York One, the local news channel over here, when they had cameras out, these girls had bags. Well, I'm not going to assume their genders. These children, 4 girls, had paper bags over their heads. Paper bags over their heads. Where are you taking these girls? Oh, well, we didn't want to expose them to the news. That's what you know what I call that? There's a complicated, big, huge word for it. It's hard for me to pronounce, but I'm going to try anyway. Bullshit. It's bullshit. We withdraw from the UN Human Rights Council? We don't care about human rights as Americans? What's going on with our fucking country, man? What is even happening? I would love for someone to explain it to me. I understand that this is what he ran on. People run on things. When you get into office, you don't do the crazy things that you don't. Oh my God. Like the wall. I just saw 2 immigration bills side by side that both had $25 billion for wall funding. Wall funding. Meanwhile, why do we need a wall if there's such a crisis that we have to load these people in cages? If that's such a crisis, then what, I mean, what's the wall gonna do? Just gonna have regular doors? So there's just gonna be people on the other side of the wall? You think that these people are coming to this country? Like, alright, I'll tell you a little story. And me and my girlfriend agree on this. Like, I'm one of those people that I will see a post on Facebook, right? And let's just say, like, it's not one of my friends' posts, but it's something somebody you know has commented on. And you'll see, like, it says, read other 147 comments or whatever. I see things like that, and I will sit there and I will read that whole thread. I will read it all. Even though I don't know these people, I just want to see. I just gotta see what's going on here. I got a buddy, and I understand that half of his stuff is shitposting. And listen, some people, you have to be careful because some of these people are just trolling you to troll you. And some of these people are actually supporting conservative values. And I'm not conservative values. Trump-servative values. It's service to Trump. That's why we're going to call it Trump-servitus values. Trump-servitism. Servitism. Trumpism. Trumpetism. Gaslighting. So when I read one of these comments that said, because there was like a town hall and these people were saying they can't become citizens. And somebody commented, he's like, that's BS, bro, because I've been in this country 46 years and I can't, you know how hard it is to become a citizen? And he says, nah, bro, you're just lazy. How do you say that to somebody? And then later on, it's like, I saw somebody say, it's not on, it's not fair that these people, it's not like these people are coming into this country and, doing well. It's not like these people are coming into this country and getting amazing jobs. They're getting jobs that you and I, lazy Americans, don't want. Right? So, they're coming there for that. And the comment from the person who told this person that they're lazy was, I know he didn't use the term undocumented. He used the term that's not real, because no human is illegal. So, he said, I know undocumented immigrants that make 6 figures. Who? You? Because that's a lie. Those are straight lies. What undocumented immigrant is making 6 figures? A drug dealer? I mean, and if they're a drug dealer, are they making it here? Where are the drugs coming from? You might say Mexico, but Mexico's pot business is dead now, man. We killed it by legalizing it. California killed Mexico's pot business, okay? Heroin comes from Iraq. Heroin comes from the Middle East in an operation by the U.S. government to remain in third world countries. They bring it back here, and it's tactics to keep Americans docile and stupid and able to vote for people like Donald Trump. Okay? So don't tell me that there are undocumented immigrants that are coming here living a lavish life. That's bull crap and you know it. And I will continue on here. I used to work at a restaurant and I'm going to name it because it's on Staten Island and I want you to not boycott the dining room on Friday night because my buddy Matt works there. So, you know what? No, screw it. Sorry, Matt. Matt works for the Staten Island Advance. Buy that newspaper, okay? He writes for the sports section. Buy that newspaper. That's how you support Matt. Primo Pizza on Staten Island, Richmond Road. Let me tell you a little something about the owner of that place, John Ruane. Oh yeah, I used his government on here. He's a fireman. He's a fireman that inhales cigars because he wants to go to like his union and pretend that he got throat damage from the fires and retire with an early pension. Boom. Take that. Okay, also, he owns this restaurant called Primo Pizza, right? So he would go in the back during 2016, during this campaign, he would go in the kitchen and say, guys, when my boy Trump wins, ICE is gonna come and take all you guys. You're all gonna be gone. Ha 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 ha. What in the world? What kind of human being would say that? Would that be the same human being that calls people like me dirty Jews to their face? Because he did that time, and that's what actually prompted me to quit. In combination with getting my new job I was working, so I got the job working at schools as a paraprofessional. So I was giving up like the Wednesday that I worked there. And I was like, John, I can't work Wednesdays anymore because, I got this other job, a real job, a job that matters, where I work with special needs children. And I help forward the education of the youth of America. And he said, oh, you gotta work Wednesdays until somebody works Wednesdays. I'm like, I'm not working Wednesdays. So yelling at me about it. He's like, don't come up to me in front of drivers, in front of customers and talk to me like that. I'm the boss, man. You don't talk to me like that. And I went to the back, and one of the pizza guys comes to me. He's like, yo, don't let him talk to you like that. And I was about to pack up and leave right there. And he says, no, man, don't leave today because it's pasta night. Make you $200 in the dining room in the 4 hours and then go home and don't come back. And that's what I did. Frig you, John Ruane. All right? And I hope somebody from the FDNY hears this podcast and knows that John Ruane is trying to scam his way into getting an early pension by inhaling cigars to feign throat damage from going in buildings and putting out fires. That's Staten Island. That's what white people are about. That's what these Trump-supporting whites are all about, okay? They're about exclusion. But at the same time, they want to call you lazy, but they want to find tricks to get early pensions. And, like, the guy John used to be a corrections officer. I wonder what happened to that. What? Couldn't handle it? Because you're a bitch? What? Some prisoner beat the fuck out of you? Because you were talking out the side of your freaking neck? Guys, listen, I'm sorry that I'm cursing a lot recently, but like first of all, I got this injury on my hand that's really bothering me. I know, I'm always hurt. I got no health insurance. I was actually at the doctor the other day, and the doctor said, "Oh man, why are you coming to urgent care? Like, why don't you go to your doctor? You don't have insurance?" I said, "No." She said, "Why?" I said, "'Cause I'm American, that's why." She nodded. Where are the girls? We have to keep going back to that. Are those girls going to Thailand? Are those girls going to Bangkok? Is that where they're on their way? And listen, he said that the executive order would not end. There's no executive order that would be able to end the separation policy. So then he signs an executive order that says he's going to keep families together in the cages. Doesn't solve the problem. Tell you why. As of this morning, Thursday morning, they're still separating children and parents. Also, let me just remind you that when they separated the children and put them in the cages and they took the parents away, they sent the parents back to their country. Guatemala or whatever. Again, these aren't all Mexicans. There's countries under Mexico. So think about, these people are coming so far. And they're getting their children taken away. And they're getting sent back. And now, The new policy, which was the old policy, is to not separate the families. But yeah, what about the kids that are still here? What are we gonna do to reunite them? No one mentioned that. That wasn't in the executive order. Which doesn't fix anything. Because I thought an executive order can't fix that. It's the Democrats' problem. The Democrats created this problem. Yeah, we're not giving you that fucking wall money! Enough with the wall. Enough with it. You know what? I'd rather hear about Hillary Clinton than the wall. Because every time there's some bill, whether it's healthcare, some bill that, you know, a couple of Republicans caucused with a couple of Democrats on, and they tried to really get a compromise going, even though, like, they're on such opposite sides. There's always some sort of, and $8 billion for possible wall funding. Like, that is a bill killer. And if you need to, you know, look at the after-school special about I'm Just a Bill, sitting on Capitol Hill or whatever, go look it up on YouTube, Schoolhouse Rock or whatever. It's disgusting, it's immoral, it's egregious, and it's something that we can't do. And on June 20th, I'm noticing that there are efforts to mobilize in cities across the country to march in protest of this heinous action being taken by a fascist regime hell-bent on making America white again. And we're gonna participate in those. So, as soon as I get the details, as soon as I see, like, a website with a list, you can look for me on Twitter at jparks. I will tweet it out. And if they're having a march or something in your city on June 30th, I believe that's this Saturday. Not this next Saturday, I'm sorry. See, I'm thinking this is Friday. Next Saturday, end of the month. If there is a march happening near you to protest, to peacefully and legally protest the injustices going on with migrant families, you should definitely do that, because you know what? The people, we're taking the power back. And anybody, if you really love America and you love democracy and what it really is, then come join Team Patriot. And join the resistance. Because, guys, girls, questioning. I just have to ask you. If you have children, how can you have children and accept something like this going on? How can that be you? How can you be somebody that says, well, you know what? They're brown, so I don't care. Like, how does the color... Like, I thought maternal things, like, I've never actually had a baby, because, spoiler, like, I don't have the parts that have a baby exit you. You know what I'm saying? I have different parts, but, like, there's a maternal thing that happens, you know? And I hear it happens with fathers, too, like they don't feel the mother, like, the same way the mother feels, but then as soon as the baby comes out, it's like, oh, like, they get that, like, you know? And, like, if you voted for Trump and you see this, like, how do those people being brown make it different? How does that kill your maternal instinct? I just can't, for the life of me, fathom it. I can't. I can't, and I refuse to. I can't, and I refuse to. And I am going to, guys, keep it on social media. And listen, just pay attention to the pictures, because right-wing conservative websites are pumping those pictures out there to try to trick you. They want you to be tricked. And we will not be tricked, because we are the party of thinking. We are the party of progression. We are the party that actually reads. We're not the party that waits for the movie version to come out. And it's funny that conservative values, are like pro-choice and family. Except when it comes to brown people. When it's brown people, they're not too concerned anymore about, basic human rights. Shameful. It's disgraceful. And I'm going to keep raging against it. And I will, there'll be more, I'm sure there'll be more about this on Monday on a brand new episode of the Jay Porks podcast, where we're going to dive into a lot of things. We're going to dive into Michael Cohen getting a new lawyer and his recent conversation with Donnie Deutsch. I know it's not Donnie Deutsch, but Donnie Deutsch has some nice suits. You know what I'm saying? Those suits are crispy, man. But like, in all seriousness, we'll talk about Manafort. ABC had a thing. ABC messed up. Did ABC mess up? Or were they fed false information purposely by a regime because, there needed to be a distraction? You make that decision. We'll also talk about, the latest in the Mueller probe. Again, the Mueller team, they're very low-key. They don't... Mum's the word. Mum isn't even the word because there are no words. I don't even know why they have a spokesperson, because there's always no comment. They're doing their due diligence. They're doing their work. And the obstruction report is, being worked on. And there was obstruction of justice, and that's an impeachable crime. So what you have to do now, if you're somebody that's not a Trump supporter, if you're somebody that is progressive or in the middle, you need to make sure that in November, there is not a blue wave, a blue tsunami. There needs to be that. Because we need that so then we can bring up these articles of impeachment and remove this dangerous, dangerous individual from office. Because the things that are being done, the policies that are being put in place, it's not just, rich get richer. No, it's dangerous for everybody. Poor people, people of color, women, immigrants. It's terrible. Where are the girls? Where are the girls? Where are the girls? We'll be back next week. This has been Dies in Your House.